Well, this was apparently the biggest story over the last couple of days. And when it comes to the internet and all the drama and stuff, and I was totally sleeping on it. I'm sorry, guys. Everybody's like, what's going on with VShojo? I'm like, they're shutting down. Apparently there's some mismanagement of funds. So this is going to be interesting. We're going to look at this. We're going to look into this. I am not following this super close. I know every time I step into one of these situations where people are like watching this thing second by second, blow by blow, there's always like all this lore and backstory that I'm completely unaware of as mostly as a normie and somebody who doesn't follow the VTuber scene super close. So I'm just going to disclaim that. I'm going to take a look at the articles, try to make sense of what's going on. We're going to talk about it. Maybe I'll have some anecdotes if we're talking talent agencies. We've had a couple of those. It hasn't, various degrees of success. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Okay, so as I understand it, the big talent agency for VTubers, VShojo, is shut down. A lot of people quit, and there's a huge spotlight on the guy in charge. Apparently, there's allegations he stole some money or something. So let's look into this. All right, this is coming from the Verge. VTuber agency VShojo shuts down after talent exodus. Well, if you don't have any clients, what are you going to do? I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. Okay, wrote CEO Justin Ignacio. So VShojo, the VTuber talent agency that billed itself as Talent First, is shutting down. CEO Justin Gunrun Ignacio made the announcement today on X, writing, "I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point." Okay. So earlier this week, VShojo came under fire as Ironmouse, the agency's top-performing VTuber, announced she was leaving the company over a missing $500,000 charity donation. Oh, damn. And her own unpaid funds. Her departure triggered a mass exodus of VShojo talent, with 12 of the company's 13 creators officially announcing their own split from the company, and some also claiming unpaid wages as their reason. The announcement alluded to VShojo's financial difficulties. Well, if 12 of your 13 clients leave, unless that last client is like freaking Mr. Beast or something, if he was a VTuber, then you're pretty fucked. Yeah, I think at that point you're pretty fucked. We raised around $11 million to pursue a bold talent-first approach in VTubing. $11 million. However, despite all of our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and we eventually ran out of money. $11 million. Okay, wait. Okay, I don't know what they do specifically, but it's been my experience with, and we've had a couple of different agents over the course of the many things we've done. My understanding is they mostly go out and get you work or make connections on your behalf or speak on your behalf or whatever. And they bring money in and they take a percentage of the money that they bring in. They're almost like a PR firm and sales team. That's typically how the whole agency works. They broker deals on your behalf. Sometimes they'll broker a deal for like all the talent, the roster that they have. Why the fuck do you need $11 million to do that? I'm just saying, like, a lot of these people, the good agents, they like work out of their house, or they work out of an office somewhere in New York or California or something. But you don't need $11 million to do that. I'm missing something here. I don't understand why they need $11 million to just, book some ad spots or something. I don't know. Ignacio also admitted that the funds raised by Ironmouse and intended for the Immune Deficiency Foundation had been spent by the company. What the fuck? Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. So wait, you have like an extra 500 grand just like drop in your bank account. You don't think to ask what that's for? Where'd you get that? Oh, well, it was one hell of a stream there, Ironmouse. Yeah, I'm going to take my 10% or whatever. Oh, my God. Ignacio went on to write that he was confident he'd be able to raise enough money to cover the cost. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. Here's the full statement. Oh, for fuck. This is okay. I gotta read this shit. Okay. How many followers do they have on X? 362,000 followers. I don't even know who these people are. Am I supposed to know who these people are? Did they use like some of that $11 million to buy themselves a bunch of followers? No, I mean, I get they have a lot of big streamers. I get that, but still, God, all of these, they all blow up eventually. VShojo has failed, and I've mismanaged the company into the situation you're all witnessing. So today I'm sharing the difficult news that VShojo is shutting down, and I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us to this point. I've been doing everything I can do to fundraise and right the ship these past few months, but despite my efforts, we are in a worse position, and those I care about are now paying the price. Yeah, I'm like stealing money from sick kids or something. Jeez. Over the last few years, we raised $11 million to pursue a bold talent-first approach in VTubing, prioritizing creators and community over short-term profits. Well, maybe you should have prioritized short-term profits there, Mr. CEO, because now you got nothing. You got to bring money in, right? To achieve long-term sustainability. Our funding went directly to our creators through generous splits, debut investments, infrastructure, concert. Okay, here we go. Infrastructure. So they probably hired a bunch of people, got studios, the whole, oh my God, this is like every mistake you can make as a content creator. We're going to go Hollywood. We're going to pump a bunch of money into our, whatever. We're going to go get some fancy lights and go hire some, union people to make up Hollywood productions on YouTube. Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do. We've been led down that road before different things. They go, oh yeah, you need to get all these people and do all that. No. Asmongold's got the right idea. Just sit in your dirty house, make your damn videos in your bedroom or whatever, and don't spend a bunch of money on sets and staff. Like, that's a waste of money. For this kind of stuff, for disposable daily content, it's a waste of money, I think. Concerts, okay, events and staffing, all designed to support them. Okay, so I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to put a pin in that right there because this reminds me a lot. Before we did this channel, we had another channel. We were part of Maker Studios. And that channel did pretty okay. It was a totally different thing, unrelated to Clownfish TV. And Maker Studios made these mistakes too. Now, they sold to Disney. They sold to Disney for like $600 million or something. They got out when they could. But it was kind of the same thing. Like, oh, we're going to turn all these makers into TV people, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And we're going to have meet and greets, and, people are going to pay money to come see YouTubers. I'm like, who the fuck would pay money to come see YouTubers? Who wants to pay money to come see us? I wouldn't advise it. I think it's dumb. But they did all this, and they were trying to basically turn everybody into like a Hollywood celebrity, right? And it didn't go well for them. A lot of these people, and most of these people are no longer in it. PewDiePie was part of that network. Markiplier was part of that network. Now they survived because they stuck to they tried to put them in stuff like Hollywood stuff, but it didn't work out very well. But I've seen this happen so many times. Like all these, they all want to take their online success and try to blow it up into more mainstream stuff. But then the irony in all this is that online stuff is the mainstream now. Like everybody else is trying to downsize, but everybody else is like, back in the day, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to go legit and we're going to, pump a bunch of money into these people. And yeah, I know they just do like toy unboxing commercials, but we can turn them into movie stars. She just does ASMR, but we can turn her into a movie star. Sure we can. Sure you can. We wanted the talent to own their IP, which we knew was a unique creator first approach for the agency. Yeah, my understanding with the VTuber thing is a lot of times there's like an ownership split or something. I don't know for sure how it works. I'm going to be honest. Like I said, I'm not super into the VTuber. Even though I use a cartoon avatar, I'm not a VTuber. But I don't know. I've heard that there's usually some kind of like an ownership split. Despite all our efforts, the business failed to generate the revenue we needed to sustain that model, and eventually we ran out of money. Well, it's going to happen if you're spending more than you're bringing in. That is business 101. Can I be the CEO of VShojo? Just be like, go out there and make some money before we spend it. Additionally, I acknowledge that some of the money spent by the company was raised in connection with talent activity, which I later learned was intended for a charitable initiative. Oh my God. At that time, we were working hard to raise additional investment capital to cover costs. And I firmly believe, based on the information available to us, we'd be able to do so and cover all expenses. So basically, I spent all the money, and I thought we could get the money back and replace it, but I couldn't. Jesus. We were unsuccessful in our fundraising efforts. I made the decision to pursue funding, and I own its consequences. Deeply sorry to the talent, staff, friends, and community members who believed in our brand. You did not deserve this. Justin Gunrun. Oh my God. And they got community noted. Jacksepticeye. Keeping charity money is some movie villain shit. Yeah, I can tell you, I used to work for a radio station. I'm not going to name names. I don't want to get sued or anything, but I used to work for a radio station, and they did a thing with it was very depressing. They were called Spinoza Bears, and Spinoza Bears, as I recall, they had a recorder inside of them. And so kids that were dying of cancer would talk to the bear and tell the bear things that they wouldn't tell their parents. And then the bear would record that. And then when the kid dies, the parent has the teddy bear with the kid's final words. And I'm like, that is some heartbreaking. I mean, that is just heartbreaking, heart-wrenching. As a parent, I was having a hard time with it. Even, when I worked at the radio station, I was like, this is some really grim stuff. And anyway, they would do all these charity events to raise money to get these bears for underprivileged kids and families, so they had something to remember their children by. And one of my coworkers found out they were pocketing the money, and they were putting it toward their advertising revenue. And they were giving a little bit to the organization, a little bit to the families, but most of it was actually going to the bottom line in advertising. And it was somehow legal. Like, I don't know, as long as they gave some of it, because they never said we're going to give you all of it. I think it was like 10% of it or something like that, but they were pocketing. So people were giving them money doing these charity events, thinking they were helping these sick kids, because who doesn't want to help sick kids, right? And only like a fraction of that actually got to the families. It's really disgusting. And a lot of companies do that. A lot of companies do this. Asmongold, speak of the devil. There we go. What about the $500,000 for charity money? Is that going to be donated still, or is that something that needs to be investigated? Not to mention all the unpaid talent fees. Yeah, okay, bud. You broke my heart, Ironmouse. You broke my heart, my spirit, and my trust. Why don't you just let us know the moment you realize this situation? Why did I get information? So this must be another VTuber. Why did I get the information 2 weeks ago? Not from the company, but from my homegirls. Why did you lie to the Japanese branch a week ago that everything was good and taken care of? Because he was trying to figure out what the hell to do. So these are all VTubers. I had a wonderful time while I was there. So because of that, it hurts my heart a lot. My community, my friends don't deserve it. I don't expect you to do anything at this point. Just please don't ever do this to anyone again. I've been trying to figure out what to say. Why did you keep dodging my messages and concerns? Because that's how it starts. They're not going to tell you the house is burning down. They never tell you the house is burning down. That's what happened with Maker. There's like a whole message board full of Maker people. And they're like, so what's going on? We haven't heard anything from Maker in like 3 months. What do we do? Well, I don't know what's going on. Do you know what's going on? I don't know what's going on. Did you ever get your money? I never got my money. Where's your money? I don't know. What's going on? And then like, okay, guys, I'm the community manager and today's my last day. Bye. And then like a week later, they got sold. When I wanted to do one-to-ones, kept dodging or giving me a short corporate answer. Yep, that's what they do. Even when I was under immense pressure from the community for answers about the auditions. Omni here says, sounds like you used your talent's actual money to keep your business afloat until you could secure additional funding. Yes, that's exactly what they did. And I think that might be illegal. Hence the operating cost. You didn't disclose that you were in the red and were hemorrhaging your talent. Positive your accountant knew how the funds were being procured, since the girls have mentioned this has been happening since 2022. I do not think you were oblivious to the charity funds raised by Ironmouse. Yeah, this is absolutely gross negligence. VShojo didn't just fail, says Giga. Many staff and leadership failed VShojo. Instead of using talent money on operating costs, the company should have shut down or informed us. But you used us as cash cows to keep things afloat while keeping us in the dark. You chose to keep the expensive sinking ship going. God, this is drama. And felt that it was fine to keep paying out the staff you're friends with instead of putting talent first. You've made it abundantly clear that you're okay with not prioritizing the debts owed to the talent who made the company what it is. Yeah, well, that tends to happen. This happens a lot. Happens a lot in new media. I'm going to be completely honest. We have been down this road a couple of times. And, you get these like fly-by-night companies. They're like, hey, we're the hot new thing, and we're a new media company, and we just got a bunch of venture capital and blah, 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 blah. And then like you can just kind of see the trajectory. Like there's this massive takeoff, and then it just like crashes and burns within a couple of years. I don't know what to say. Yeah. Is the COO going to say anything about his involvement, or is he busy Googling how do I renew my law license past the deadline? I don't know. So let's see what was going on here with Ironmouse announced she was leaving. So I'm going backwards here. So this was like hours before the other one. It said Ironmouse posted an 11-minute video explaining she's leaving her talent management agency. I recently found out for the past couple months I've been misled by VShojo. I believe that I am owed a significant amount of funds, which I have not been paid. I'm going to be honest, though. I mean, this is scummy and this is awful, right? But I think a lot of these agencies take advantage of younger people, maybe people who don't have who aren't paying attention, right? Who aren't paying attention to their finances. And once you've done a couple of these rodeos and you've gotten fucked over, you will pay very close attention every damn cent that these agencies owe you, and you will pay very close attention to the percentages, and you'll pay very close attention to the dates that the money gets dropped into your account. I am telling you as someone who's been down this road before, not going into details, but we've had experiences before where we've had to chase supposedly our representatives. We had to chase them for money, and we're like, what's the deal? We did XYZ thing like 6 months ago. What the hell is going on here? Yeah, you will learn, and you will try to do as much as you can do yourself, or you will find an agency to work with that isn't going to bend you over, right? And it's more of a partnership, and not just like, hey, you're a sucker with a lot of followers. We're gonna juice your followers, and that's what a lot of these new media agencies do. They just want to take advantage of your audience, and they take advantage of you. And then when they don't need you anymore, guess what? You don't get paid. They pay who needs paid first, and if they need this other person first, that person gets paid, and that's just the truth of it. So she has more than 2.3 million followers on Twitch. I have heard of her, and I don't even pay much attention to VTubers, but I've heard of her. And 1.3 million subs on YouTube in 2023. She won the Game Award for Content Creator of the Year. She was at one point the most subscribed to Twitch streamer with more than 300,000 subs. Her VTuber colleagues at VShojo have follower accounts in the hundreds of thousands across Twitch and YouTube. Now in the aftermath of her video, most of them have quit. Well, yeah, she's the biggest and they quit. According to Ironmouse, her trouble with VShojo started at the end of 2024. Her subscription marathon on Twitch during the event, Ironmouse raised more than $500,000 for the Immune Deficiency Foundation because she explained it was important to her as the real person behind the Ironmouse persona, suffers from immune deficiency disease. Okay. The Verge has reached out to Ironmouse for comment. Because the money came from my Twitch revenue, it required VShojo to make the donation on my behalf, she said in her video. She claims that this has not been done. That's why she's decided to leave. Yeah, some of these agencies, and I'll tell you, and again, this is firsthand knowledge. We've had this situation before. The money goes to them first. So actually, this is very normal. If you're an actor or you work in any kind of production, the money usually goes, they pay the agency, and then the agency takes their cut, and then they pay you. Works in publishing this way, works whatever. So yeah, so the Twitch money is going to the agency. The agency is giving Ironmouse what they think Ironmouse should get after they skim off the top, and apparently they skimmed a shit ton off the top. So right now she's independent. So while creator leaving a talent agency is nothing new in the world of VTubers, the scope and scale of this departure has had a serious impact. Yeah, they're shutting it down. So now apparently the guy's lying too. So let's see here. This was Friday. VShojo CEO's apology goes viral with community note calling him a liar. Community note provide. Okay. So Ludwig said, basically, y'all had $11 million in investor money you burned through and then proceeded to use the money you owed talent and $500,000 you owed charity as a runway while searching for a new investor to dupe. You would have been a great esports owner. Yeah, this is very typical. I mean, I cannot stress you how many stories I've heard of, and some we've actually been witness to in the whole like YouTuber esports space. That these companies just pop up overnight. They get a bunch of venture capital. They're massively irresponsible with it. And it all crashes and burns within like 2 or 3 years. And it leaves a lot of people in a bad place. Yeah. And you'd be surprised how big some of the people involved in these things are. And they tend to just walk away without any issues whatsoever. Just, oh, well, that one didn't work. I'm just gonna mosey on up over into the next thing and burn that down too. They said, yeah, it was a CEO, his apology that's been galling fans the most. I acknowledge some of the money spent by the company, some of the money spent. He got community noted. Justin claims not know the purpose of the funds, but he personally congratulated Ironmouse on the completion of her charity fundraising event and reposted Ludwig directly, mentioning that half the funds would go to charity. There were links to the past tweets in question, which include Ignacio Rang, "You did it, Mouse," acknowledging the fundraiser. Another VTuber was Vebe, who left VShojo in 2023, responded to Ignacio's claims by mentioning her own past problems with the company. I only found out I didn't get paid for any of my sponsors after I already signed the NDA. After 2 years, I have still not been paid back fully. To add insult to injury, they also demanded I had to pay them back $10,000 for some of the anniversary assets, which they sent back to me months later, and they were half finished. Oh my God. VShojo allegedly tried to lowball revenue splits and sabotage her departure with rumors seeded on 4chan. Wow. According to Ignacio, the agency prioritized creators and community over short-term profits. Yeah. Not many VTubers feel that's true. Ironmouse has yet to respond. Yeah, I think that basically a bunch of fuck-ups came into a bunch of money and they mismanaged it, and a bunch of people, unfortunately, got caught up in that. And this happens so often. You have no idea. You have no idea how often this happens. So good luck to everybody involved. I'm sure, like 3 million. She'll be fine. 3 million subs, she'll be fine. And I think there will be lawsuits. And I do believe before it's all said and done, that organization will get $500,000, even if it comes from other sources. I could totally see like Asmongold or Mr. Beast or somebody, Ludwig, kicking in money to make sure they get it, or personally beating the ever-loving crap out of the guy to make sure he coughs it up. I don't think he's got it, but somebody, I mean, that's a sizable amount of money. That's not just like, oh yeah, I misplaced, $5,000 or $10,000. That's like $500,000 that you spent that wasn't yours to spend. That could be looking at jail time. I'm just saying. I'm not a lawyer, but that sounds jail worthy to me. I'm gonna wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.